I just wanted to take a moment and review your group design protocol. This is a pretty big assignment that you will complete in groups of 2 to 4 students, depending on how many students are in your lab cohort. The majority of you will have 2 or 3 students in your group. So you need to make sure that if you do not see the assignments with the names of the people in your group as well as the population that you will be doing your group on, if that is not posted in the announcements by week 2, you need to make sure you reach out to your instructor. Another thing that I want to point out is that in addition to submitting the Microsoft Word document in Canvas once you've completed your assignment, you will also need to submit the assignment as a Google document. And so what I'm asking is that you guys work on this assignment as a group in Google Docs and that each student choose a color to type their responses. Then when you submit your assignment, please include the link to the Google document as well as something on there that tells me who typed in which color. And then be sure that you change your Google Docs settings so that I can view it. And what that does is it just gives me an idea of who contributed what portions. Now, if you happen to meet as a group and you're doing it together, and it's not something where one person is doing this section and one person's doing that section, then make a note of that in the Google Doc as far as which parts were done as a group together. I also want to point out that there's some supportive information here that you can use to assist in the process of creating your group and completing the assignment. So be sure to utilize those. I also want to point out that I really want you guys to be mindful that you allocate time to meet with your group before and after the protocol assignment is graded to prepare for completing the actual group in lab, because that is going to be a competency for you in lab. And the more prepared you are, the more comfortable you'll be when doing that. So you'll see here there's 2 different documents associated with this assignment that you can click on. The first one is a group process evaluation form. And what you'll see with that one is that it really just gives me an idea of who completed what and how you feel about how that went. So you'll be rating your student peers on these several areas. So just make sure you complete that as it is part of the assignment. Then the main thing that you need to be looking at is the instructions document. So what you'll see there when you first pull up that document is you'll see the list up top. While it's loading, I'll kind of start describing it. The list up top will tell you what the different group populations are, and it will also give you information about the guiding theory that you will use or model that you will use to make that group or to make your group. So that will be in the assignment or the group announcement, about this assignment that tells you who's in your group. It'll also say which population and which model you'll be concentrating on. So then you only need to worry about what's assigned to you per that announcement. So you're going to make sure that you research that population and that model before you get started on your group activity so that you're familiar with what you need to do. And then I want to point out that you also only need to do 1 group session. It does not need to be multiple sessions for that 1 group, just 1 session for the 1 group for that population that you're assigned. So as you see here, there is the group design protocol format outline. You can go by this. You can do the bullets. You can do the different titles here or subtitles here that are in this section. And that way it's very easy for me to go in and tell what you've completed and what is what. So it's names of the students, title of the group. When you're doing your title, try to come up with something interesting. Don't just call it, the exercise group, which you shouldn't be doing exercise anyway, as you can see up top in the instructions. However, you don't want it to just be a boring name. Kind of make it interesting. That is part of your grade, by the way. Then there's some background information. There's the group purpose and goals, the group structure, a description of the session, and then some collaboration with the OTR information, group evaluation, and then your reference list. Then you're also going to see that there is, separate from the protocol, in a brief few paragraphs, you're going to articulate how or why your team chose the activity that you chose, why and how it meets the goals, and fits with your population or treatment model. So be sure that you include a description of a frame of reference, a theory, or a model of practice that you used, and use a minimum of 3 research articles supporting the decisions made regarding the design of the group. Include information from each of the 3 research articles in your few paragraphs, and you'll also need to have references for that. And then if you look below, you'll see there's also a table that you should be completing. So all of the research articles that you use for this assignment should be included in your research table. And what you're going to do is you're going to put in there the reference, and then you're going to include if the article was quantitative, qualitative, or both. Then you're going to reflect on the teaching that was involved in running an OT group. And with that, you're going to provide a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph regarding how you can use what you learned about teaching to A, improve your learning experience as a student, and B, provide teaching for future OTA students, either as a fieldwork educator or possibly a future OTA instructor. You want to make sure that each person in the group provides a separate reflection for number 4. So this part should not be done together. This part should be done separately, and then it listed whose is whose. Label your paragraph with your name so I'll know who wrote each one. Then each member of the group is required to individually complete the group process evaluation form that I showed you at the beginning. That is also linked in the assignment description. So as you're completing this activity, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that, please feel free to reach out to your instructor. I also highly encourage you to go through and look at the rubric, because the rubric breaks down exactly what we're looking for, how many points each part is worth. It's very thorough in helping you know what you need to do. So if you have any questions as you're working on this, please feel free to reach out to me.